Hello and welcome to another edition of the When Calls Hard Aftershow here on JLJ Media. I'm James Law Jr. Hi, Hardees. We're talking season 12, episode 4, Dancing Teens. How are you guys today? So I'm running, like I said, I was running a little late this week. I did episode 3, and thank you guys for watching that one and commenting. Now I got episode 4, so I get it out to you guys. I like both episodes. Again, another kid-centric episode with messages and story for the adults a little bit. But it went by really fast. It was very lighthearted. Next week looks really fun, and Fiona's back. I love it. But this one was it's kind of cool to see the next generation. I'm glad they decided to do. I didn't expect these kind of episodes because there were several seasons where we didn't get the kids that much. In the beginning, as you guys remember, we had a lot of kid stories mixed in with the adult stories. Then for a while, it felt like it was mostly adult stories with a kid story here and there. And this season, I feel like we've seen the kids much more than some of the adults. Where's Faith? Give her a story. That's just me. But I was kind of like, yeah, it's kind of, but I don't mind. I'm like I said, nice. We have 12 episodes. That's fine. Let's see some growth from the kids because they are the future. And if they want, and so for the show, they want to do spin-offs or anything, or kind of like whatever. And or the show goes on for 20 seasons, they're the next generation, right? Coming up. I was just seeing that on soaps and stuff. I was just seeing that on like shows like this. So it's kind of cool. And it touched some really touching subjects. Whilst, as some say, they are talking about the latest things. And we got a interesting reveal at an interesting time of the episode. I was like, oh, did I just hear that? So Lee and Lucas are still not talking. They're still fighting. There's a funny sequence at the beginning. Good old our friend, good old Bill Avery in the middle of it. He's just like, I don't know what to do with these people. I'm actually really surprised that they are really carrying this Lee and Lucas thing as long as they are. Because we're really seeing a different side of Lee. Now, some I've seen some complaints about this online, but for me, I'm always about seeing where the story takes us, and if there's a really big payoff later with them, that's just like super amazing. But also, we're seeing different sides to some of these characters. I think, and myself included, sometimes we get attached because now we're talking 12 seasons. We're attached to the characters. Like we are attached, we are in. That's Hardy's have been watching forever. Sometimes we get used to them the way they are and may put them a little on a pedestal a little bit. Now, I realize that they are supposed to play well-rounded human beings. So I applaud Hallmark for showing this. I'm just about the shade that Lee's been giving. I kind of love it. Like, why not? It's like these are real men, real people out there who have all kinds of stuff. Um, it's interesting to see them not getting along. Hmm. So hopefully it'll pay off something really big later because One Calls Heart does that usually. But yes, it can be hard to see for some people until they get that. Um, we actually saw Flomo together for like they were together off and on, but it was one scene they were actually staying next to each other. I was like, there's Flomo staying next to each other. Just got to mention that. But the big story, well, I guess the A, as they call it, the A story. It's like A story, B story, C story. The A story is a dance party for Allie for her birthday. First, I can't tell my dad. Of course he's gonna find out. He finds out from Lee by accident. But the whole idea of her growing up. This was very much between Nathan and her and Allie and Joseph and Angela. It's very much a dad girl episode. I'm a father of two daughters. I'm a dad girl myself, a girl dad, excuse me, girl dad myself. And I get it. It's it's so they have to grow up. You know they do. You know they do. I guess because we know how boys and men think, because we're boys and men ourselves. We're like, no, we can't do this. Both my daughters, Tammy and Monica Lisi, I love you guys. They don't watch the show, but I love them. They are strong, independent women. Each are married with having kids, and they're doing their things. But I've raised them to be strong. The mother and I raised them to be strong. But you still, when they were getting older, it was just like, oh my God, it's happening. It really does feel like sometimes they're babies. They're like 6 or 7. Then they're like 9 or 10. Then they're like 17. In my case, almost 40. I understand. I don't know how I have kids almost 40. That to me, I'm like, I'm just so young. I don't know what's going on. Um, so it was really interesting. I like this episode was very positive towards fathers. Even towards the end, Minnie says, you have these good fathers here. I was like, yes, Minnie, that's right. There's some good fathers there, and there's some good fathers out there. So I want to go shout out to the dads, my fellow dads out there, um, who are involved in their child's lives. But also, if you have daughters, you get all of my um, praise and respect. And I'm also very sorry. Raising girls was hard. And having wrapped around their fingers. I'll just say that. So she's at a party. Elizabeth's all for it. The girls are all giddy and excited. You can tell Angela's not really saying anything. I was like, ooh, I wonder what's going on with her. I had noticed that. Now I thought Elizabeth knew the dances, but she knows ballroom, which I guess they would. They're talking about this is like 1920, so they're talking to Charleston, the shimmy. I was like, oh, that's right. So it says you're going to teach. Doesn't know anything. Luckily for Rosemary, she comes in. They get May Sue, who's the most worldly, I guess, and it's a fun whole sequence of them dancing. Now, I just want to tell you a little side note about me too. I am a ballroom dancer. I learned how to. I've been a dancer since I was a kid. I've always learned all the latest dances. I was always one thing. I was a disco dancer. That's how old I am. I was a disco dancer. Hold I do all the latest dances. But I took ballroom over. God, when was that? It was like 10, 11 years ago. Um, my cousin Bobby, who's a big dancer, she's a big classical trained dancer and everything. Um, Told me once for my birthday, she was like, well, you should, for my birthday, I am giving you to get to a dance studio. I was going to learn ballroom. They used to watch Dance with the Stars. And so there's places, they say usually most dance studios, you can come in for free the first class. They want to see if you like it, and then they charge you after that. We went to a place called Bailamos, which means dancing in Spanish. But it was in West Hollywood, and Shirley Ballas was one of the owners. That's Mark Ballas's mother. They're all ballroom dancing legends. Mark Ballas, of course, was on the early seasons of Dancing with Stars. So I used to go there. I went and got hooked and took classes. I sweated like a pig. I sweat so much. But I learned how to ballroom dance. And so I could do some. I could do the waltz and the cha cha cha. And sort of, I dance salsa because I'm part Puerto Rican. But I'm like, I know the whole dance stuff. And so it's kind of fun. I love dance. Dancing's fun. I love it. But it's a whole thing. So we're going to plan this there's a whole sequence trying to plan how to teach girls how to dance. Now they say it's a teen party. It was just kind of a funny aside when they had Cooper and Toby wanting to go at first because they're 13. I was like, yeah, I guess yeah, they're teens. When I realized it was partner dancing, they're like, "Ooh, we're good." Like boys, like, never mind, no, thank you. And we find out through this episode that Angela feels very different. And we kind of noticed from the last couple episodes, they mentioned she wants to go to a school in Hamilton for the blind and teach the blind. And I love that this show was very much, they didn't treat her very differently. They showed that she could be like everybody else on some level. They always got her books and stuff, they're braille books and everything, but she writes songs, she's talented. But I'm glad they're addressing this. And it's very sweet. There's this scene with Joseph and her, and then it was scene with Elizabeth and her. Elizabeth was perfect. The way of course, I say she's a great teacher, was that she handled it the perfect way. She was like, okay, you feel different. It must feel, she just kind of she endorsed her feeling and was kind of with both compassion. It was just like, is there anything I can do? Like, just like, what can I do to help you? She didn't tell her, don't feel that way. She could tell, you're right. She's blind. There's something. They're saying she's not so different, but she is different. There's no one else blind there, and I thought that's actually very cool because Joseph and her talk, and you tell Joseph believes in his daughter, which is one of the greatest things you can do. It's like you believe in your daughter, you believe in what's going. Like you literally are just you're there for her. You teach her strength, but you have to acknowledge, like she said, you don't understand. I am different, and it wasn't until Henry said it, of all people. They have their, Joseph and Henry have their chess games. I love that. But he's like, she is different, but it's not like in a bad way. But it's like she is different, and I love that Elizabeth's answer was giving her the story of having Helen Keller's story in the book in Braille to her, and you saw Angela light up and change, and it's like you don't have to say, "Oh my God, yeah, you're different, you're somebody," but like okay, I understand what you're saying, and on some level, yes, you are. What can I do to support you? I thought the way they handled it was beautiful. The way they handled it, I think it should be taught in schools how they handled this. That's fine. Um, Also, this whole dance brought up feelings for Nathan, which I totally understand about his daughter growing up. So I understand that. It also brought up feelings for Elizabeth, which is telling Rosemary, I love them just such friends. Because she's leaning on me, it feels different. And when she was doing her hair, Ali was just like, it's so nice to have someone to talk to you like this, other than her dad. And I will say this, and I might get flack for it. I don't care. I think every child, no matter what their family situation is, should have access to both male and female role models in their lives. I think every child, whether it's a boy or girl, I think every child should have access to that. I know some people are single parents, and you're working hard, and you may not have a man, but if you have a strong male friend or cousin or uncle, hopefully you can try to see if they want to be a part. I just think it's important. It took a village to raise my kids, and it took a village to raise me, and it takes a village to raise my grandkids. And I just think that having a strong role models on both sides of that spectrum, I think girls need females and males. You need both for different reasons. They need them, and so do boys. So I know maybe some people get mad at me, but I totally believe that. I've always believed that. And I think there's something wrong with believing that. I just think it should just be, it's well roundedness. And it's just that there's some things that certain people, that a female to female will understand and a male will understand. And sometimes there's a perspective you can get from someone of the opposite sex. So I think it's just one of those things. I just don't believe it. But I said again, whatever your situation is, of however you became family, hopefully you have people in your life, period, that can be there for you and for your kids. And that's what I think what Liz was saying. She's like coming to me, and it's more than just the teacher thing. It's kind of because she has no mother. Allie has no mother, so those kind of cool. So it's very important to Elizabeth to support Allie in this. So that was kind of cool. So I think that's so. Oh, and then he had the dance. Well, the thing was first Molly was like, "There's no, we should have a dance. It's too scandalous, blah blah." And then several sets of parents decided to chaperone the Canfields, Nathan, and right. They all decided they said, we'll chaperone off to the side. That's a compromise. And the dance was fun and cute. I love how just like when I was a kid, people would not dance first. No one dances. It's like no one goes to dance floor first. And cute Oliver, who likes Allie, he starts off first. They dance for a while, and everybody's dancing. And then at one point, Elizabeth's watching them. It was such a sad scene. It was so heartbreaking. He has a present for her, for Allie, but Allie is waiting for Wyatt to come, the new boy. And he walks up to give her the present, and then Wyatt walks in. And Elizabeth sees the whole thing. It was like, oh, I know, it's so sad. But it was the dance went off without a hitch. Nothing crazy happened. It was all good. So that was good. A couple little B, C stories. The Rocky Mountain, the Great Rocky Mountain Train Robbery at Night Show 7. I'm so excited for this. Nathan said it in the episode. I agree with him. It's nice to see Bill and Rosemary back together again, and that coin. But here's what's and that whole sequence of them trying to do reconnaissance, everything, it was just hilarious, talking to the Yost and all that. But here's the crazy. So towards the end of the episode, meanwhile, outside of the dance, you have Molly feeling bad, she's just sticking in the mud. Then there's Jed, who we know he kind of likes her. Well, basically, they like each other. Um, they start to they start to talk, and she actually asked him to dance because he was like a little nervous. He wanted to, but in the middle of it, I had to watch it twice. I had to go back twice. I'm like, did I just hear that? He was like, I'm the one who bought. You had the coin, and I had to buy those hazelnuts. You know, he was like, first he was hating on the other stand. He bought the hazelnuts for $1, so it was him. So I'm curious to see what happens next week. Because she was like, you can go tell Bill now. He's like, wait a second, we'll keep dancing. But it was kind of like, that was like, I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that revelation, like just like that. I mean, I thought something more dramatic. It was kind of like, oh, he did it. But then obviously he's not a thief or anything. Obviously, he must think like, I guess we'll find out more. But I was like, I don't know if you guys felt, I was like, okay, got it. That, and then basically we have, and then the last thing, because I said this was not a heavy episode. Oh, it was Lucas and not Lucas and Edie ran into each other on the ranch, and they go through the ranch. You see, he looks through it. He kind of understands where she's coming from a little bit, so a little bit of understanding. And that was that, kids. Basically, I mean, it was a nice light episode with a couple of great messages and yay fathers. That's what I think. Are you back again? This time on time. I'm back on the swing of things for this Sunday's episode of When Calls the Heart. Parties, wherever you are, please be careful. The weather is crazy everywhere, so be careful where you are. We're doing better in Los Angeles. We had rain, which we had for a minute. That was good. And rain's coming again, apparently. But we also people are able to get back to their homes now. We're starting the process of assessing stuff. It's devastation everywhere, and it's completely sad. But we're walking through it, running through it. Parties, I love you guys. I will talk to you soon. Bye. Cancel. Wait a minute. How am I doing this? Oh my god.